Build the life of your dreams with coffee. Here now is the coffee couple, Carlos and Reyna, on Coffee Talk Radio.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us today on this edition of Coffee Talk. My name is Carlos.
And I'm Reyna.
And we are the coffee couple.
Yes.
Thanks so much for being with us here tonight. We just came home from eating sushi, so we're kind of stuffed.
Very stuffed.
A little bloated. Good stuff, though. And so we're enjoying a peaceful night tonight. Today's Saturday night, and we are so happy to be here with you tonight on this edition of Coffee Talk. And tonight's conversation is going to be kind of a heavy one, but I think it's something that's going to help everybody out there with future successes. And the title of our talk tonight is going to be How Reverse Engineering Your Past Successes Help You with All Your Future Endeavors.
Yes. To stay focused, to stay encouraged, to look forward to what will happen, and just believe. Keep believing. Don't give up. And that's what this is about. So you want to start with some examples?
Yeah, you know what? Everybody has past successes. Unless you're a 5-year-old, you're not going to have one. But as adults, we all have past successes that we can look back and reverse engineer.
A 5-year-old can have a success. Hopefully they've been potty trained by then.
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely. But I'm talking about how they can apply it. They don't know how to yet apply it. So okay. I'm just saying that they can't apply their next potty to what they just learned. I mean, I'm just saying. So yeah, so you know, reverse engineering helps a lot, and actually not only in the engineering world, and you know, even website builders do this a lot because they reverse engineer a lot because they see what is working and they tear it down piece by piece, and to the point where they can go to the genesis of the project, the problem, the goal, whatever it may be. You reverse engineer that, it gives you a clear path and even a method to how you can then apply that to future successes, future endeavors. Mm-hmm. And what example were we gonna give?
Oh my goodness. You want to put me on the spot again.
Oh yeah. Sorry guys, I lost my train of thought. No, what I wanted, Reyna, and it's an awesome little story, and I think it's perfect to what we're talking about tonight. Reyna got a job just 2 weeks ago. It's her dream job working at PIH here in Whittier, California.
Yeah, Presbyterian Intercommunity Hospital, which is a huge now, almost like Kaiser.
Well, the reason why I wanted her to talk about that was because it didn't happen overnight, guys. It took a lot of it took a lot of patience, perseverance. It took a lot of determination because she did go through a lot of steps to get to where she's at right now. And it really is her dream job, and it really is something that she just loves going to work. It's something that she just doesn't regret having gone through all this. But what I wanted to give you guys a story is the last 2 years, kind of in a nutshell, the last 2 years of what she's gone through to get where she's at, because we can definitely say that she's now reached a level of success in terms of getting the dream job that she has been waiting for the last 2 years and what it's taken since the inception of this path. So what was that, babe? So like start from day one when you decided to be a phlebotomist. Like you had this thought and say, okay, I want to be a phlebotomist. And now, you know, fast forward 2 years and you're PIH phlebotomist 2, you know, that success, how did that get there?
Oh my goodness, a lot of trial, I have to say, a lot of discouragement, so it was really hard to stay focused and stay on track and believe in myself, believe in what the path that I had chosen was the right path. So,
but how did it start, babe? I
well,
mean, like, start from day one. I mean, you read something.
No.
You had a friend that was a phlebotomist. I mean, you had you saw some infomercial. I mean, what started your path to be a phlebotomist?
Well, I always liked it. So back when I was a medical assistant, I preferred to draw blood one-on-one and then not have to go through the whole thing of seeing the patient from start to finish. Just basically draw their blood and let them go on their merry way, and then fill out the paperwork, and that's just me.
So let's say that was 2 years ago, right? Just about 2 years ago.
Well, I
when did
first
that
liked
start?
it when I was 19. I was
Okay,
a
but
medical
like
assistant.
the start of
Then
when you
when I went back to school, that was in 2012.
2012. Okay, so it's been quite a while now.
I
It's
did
not,
my 8-week course and finished the course, but I couldn't get my certification because I had to finish paying for the schooling. So when I sold the house in Banning, I came out here to Hacienda Heights and paid that off, which then got me my certification. I had to go and do my externship, whatever they called it. Then I got licensed through the state of California, and then I began job searching. I mean, you helped me job search for this. You know, we worked on a resume together. I kept getting shot down, you know, from different companies over and over because I didn't have the experience they wanted me to have. So it was just so tedious. I mean, you saw me applying daily. And finally...
well, prior to getting any kind of phlebotomy job, you got other part-time positions because you just needed some income.
Right. So I worked at Macy's, still applying for, you know, different places.
And
but
how did that feel, though?
Terrible, because I felt like I wasted my time going to school, paying all this money for nothing. You know, I didn't believe in myself. I started questioning myself. I started asking God, you know, did I make the right choice? Maybe I'm not supposed to do this. Maybe I'm, you know, but then I felt, God, but, you know, I really want this. I've always wanted this. I'm good at what I do. You know, at the blood donor center, I might not have all the paperwork right, but I haven't missed. And, you know, knock on wood, I'm not trying to sound all that, but it was really sad at some point. You know, I mean, I'd cry with you and, you know, just try again.
So then so you got some part-time jobs because you couldn't fill a
Right.
position as a phlebotomist because you didn't have the experience. And then, well, going back a little bit before that, I remember you had applied for certain positions, and I remember this was in early 2014 that you got a call from some place and they wanted to interview you, but you did not have your state certification or some kind of that you had missed the year before. So,
I didn't have my license.
And it was something you could have had, but you didn't. So
that I didn't know about.
You had to wait for another
3 months
before you got that paperwork, right? So, so that was that step back or setback, right?
Yeah.
So then, even if they had wanted to hire you, you couldn't because you hadn't filed the paperwork to get your state license.
Right. Yeah. So that was another little barrier that I had to jump over, but eventually somebody, you know, looked at me, and it was just amazing. Rick from Allswell, from the staffing agency, but
we call him Rick the bleep, but anyway.
But he did give me my first opportunity, even though he made me doubt myself. And at first he said, you know, well, how did you even get in here if you don't have experience? And I said, well, I do have experience, but just, you know, 1,000 years ago when I was last in,
with your medical
2000.
Yeah.
The year 2000 was my last medical experience. So anyways, I convinced him to give me a chance, and he did, and he placed me in a clinical trials facility. But then once my assignment was done, I'd have to, you know, not work or move on. And so it was just, again, it was discouraging not to have a permanent position. But I just kept applying. I would have a day off, or they'd lay me off. What do you call it when my assignment was terminated?
Yeah, the assignment was terminated, and you weren't on the schedule anymore.
I wasn't on the schedule anymore.
Although you were still hired by them technically.
And they could call me like the following week and rehire me. So any opportunity that I would get off work early, I'd spend some time just applying and just praying, you know, after every application, and that God would just put my paperwork into the right hands at the right time. And I'd often just think that I wanted a job in a certain place, but it's not what God wanted for me.
Right, so you've had some doubt.
Yeah.
Because of these circumstances. that you finally got into this place, and then they had you for a few weeks, and then they terminated your assignment. Then they called you back about 3 weeks later,
Right.
and then they put you on schedule. So there was this up and downs with the position of phlebotomy, and you couldn't. I mean, yeah, you're right. We were going through night after night of submitting on all the top search engines, top employment.
Monster, what was the other? Indeed jobs, or just various. And, along with that, I'd apply to the job sites. So I would be applying
specifically
to
PIH. Specifically to the other one that you wanted, the LabCorp.
LabCorp, and what was the other one? Quest Diagnostics were one of the top ones. Well, unbeknownst to me, along with the experience that I was getting at the clinical trials, they were looking at, she's been working, she's been doing this, she's been employed here since whatever month I started in December with WCCT.
Mm-hmm.
So these search engines were actually working, unbeknownst to both of us,
Right. People were looking at your resume.
Yeah. And right when I thought this one job came up, but it was still through the staffing another staffing agency. It was in, where was that? Costa Mesa.
Mm-hmm.
At Fairview Hospital, which was, it was going to be a scary position, but I was willing to take it because it's a government facility, very difficult to get in, but I was willing to give it a shot because the hours were really early and I'd be home. It was a part-time position. I just didn't have anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? Something got stuck with my application.
They did a background check. They did a physical, and then they were waiting for a doctor to interview you and talk to you one last time.
Oh, for my hepatitis B series.
And the hepatitis booster that you needed. And so there was actually, because of that hesitation, because of that hold up, you got the call from PIH finally.
Yeah, right. I mean, that same week.
Wednesday, and you're supposed to meet the doctor Friday.
Yeah.
So basically what had happened is a series of just setbacks, frustrations, doubt, fear, really, because there was no income at the time for Reyna coming in. And there's just a lot of, then there was some highs, some super highs. We had some really happy days because she had got hired on to WCCT. She got hired on to these other part-time places that, just the mere fact that you're actually employed was actually something to be thankful for and happy for, and we were. But it wasn't what we wanted. It wasn't what Reyna wanted, to finally get that dream job at PIH or one of these top, blood places.
Right.
So along the way, there's always these things that were coming into play to kind of blocking, kind of hesitating, but because of this last hesitation, this last holdup, it worked out super duper good for you because of that holdup. You got a call from PIH. They interviewed you, and you never had to go back to Fairview, which you really didn't want to go to. But it was like, okay, this is it.
Well, and I had to let go of Fairview unknowingly, and trust my gut instinct. It was really, remember I said, I still didn't have the job at PIH, but I felt like, okay, I'm going to let go of something I don't want and trust.
I remember that day.
Oh, my goodness.
I remember that day, guys. Reyna said that. She goes, you know what? I don't know if you read it. Was it scripture or something like that you read that you have to let go of something to receive something greater.
Yeah.
And that was powerful, and because that's exactly what happened. She had to leave a secure position that was already, she had done the background checks. They had already interviewed you twice or what have you, and they wanted you. You did a tour of the place, and it was yours. But you had to take a leap of faith with PIH because they had just interviewed you, and they had told you that they're still interviewing.
Yep.
So you said, you know what? I'm going to have to let go of Fairview and trust that this is the job for me.
Yeah. Yeah, because Fairview was, an hour or two away?
No. It was about an hour drive.
About an hour, yeah. And it's in Costa Mesa, and PIH is less than
10 minutes away.
It's
just
less
amazing.
than 10 minutes away. It's ridiculous. I could walk there, take my bike, but it's just persevere. And I have to say, all in all, Carlos has been just amazingly strong, and I'm just
Say that again?
grateful. Yeah, you are. You are.
No.
You're amazingly, you're a pillar of strength for me. You have been. You've always said, no, just believe. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. I just want to cry. I want to crawl in my hole.
It's tough. It really is tough, guys. So that's Reyna's story right there, and one that I wanted her to touch bases with tonight's conversation, because I know, guys, you guys out there right now, everybody goes through their struggles, and we sometimes don't remember our past successes. And if we just dissect them and reverse engineer them and go from their genesis to the end to where you reached your successes, you'll find out that there's these pitfalls, these highs and lows, and how you can apply that to your future endeavors and your future successes is easy, because now you have a set of events. Yes, perfect events, experiences, of what you did, what you didn't do, what worked, what didn't work, your fears, your joys, and then you say, okay, because I did this and this, and I did get success, then your future successes should be that much easier. It's never easy, obviously.
No.
But
I think, too, that all in all, we should focus on the good, the successes, the happy points. And, there's been, I don't want to say doom and gloom, but there has been some pivotal points where we're just so disappointed and discouraged, and we just want to give up. But if you don't, you'll get through that. So focus on the good, focus on your successes, focus on the positive that you have done or accomplished and can do still.
Absolutely. Amen to that. All right, guys, we're going to leave you here tonight with just 5 things that we came up with, how reverse engineering your past successes.
It sounds so technical.
I know.
Isn't there another reverse engineer, reverse thinking, reverse?
Reverse engineering is kind of a known thing. But anyway, guys, it
is. I've never.
But it's just tearing apart or dissecting what you've done in the past to help you with your own struggles for your future successes. So the 5 ways that can be done, or 5 things that you guys can take home tonight and kind of apply them for your future successes and endeavors are, number 1, the first thing that we came up with is that by reverse engineering your past successes, you're going to be able to know your reaction to the outside forces so that you apply them next time, because they're almost always similar. There's the highs and lows. The happiness is your fears, your doubts. You know what you're going through, so that's one of them. That's number 1.
Right.
Number 2, you can anticipate problems, whether you caused them or whether it was caused by, I don't know, technical glitches, the environment, some circumstance in life. You're going to know that the problems are going to come, so that when you're going through your success path and something that interferes with that, you know that you're just going to be able to say, hey, well, that's just part of the process. Right, so that's number 2. So you're going to be able to anticipate problems and work with them. Number 3 is avoid mistakes, whether they're mistakes on your part or mistakes by other people's part.
Avoid them.
Well,
you can't always avoid them.
Well, you can't always avoid them, but I mean, you can, because you can anticipate your problems, you can then avoid certain mistakes that you may have not otherwise done.
Or you may have done before.
Right, so that now you're applying them to a new set of circumstances, but you know that in the past, I did X, Y, and Z, and I know I shouldn't have, so this will help me do this next one. Right, so that's number 3, avoiding mistakes because you can anticipate problems, which was number 2. And then number 4 is knowing your own limits, then pushing those limits.
Right, yeah.
Because now, like Reyna, I know now, I have no doubt that if ever anything else in her path, whether it be a career move or anything that she chooses to go through, I know that I can be that cheerleader for her and remind her of the 2 years that she struggled to get to her final success, which was working with PIH, and say, babe, you know what? This is part of the process. So you enjoy the process. So you know your limits, but then you push them because now you allow yourself to go through that.
Right.
And then finally, number 5 that we came up with is the best one is that you should have and will have no doubts as to the fact that you will succeed in whatever you apply yourself, because the fact that you can go back to your previous successes and dissect them and see how you got there, and just know that there are going to be some highs and lows. There's going to be doubts and fears, but there's going to be some joys, and that you are just going to enjoy the process and just wait for that day where you can just pop that champagne cork and just celebrate your successes, because you know that it's on its way.
All right.
So for all you guys struggling out there for any little thing, whether it be weight loss, whether it be financial struggles, whether it be marital problems, whether it be problems with your work or anything like that, your past successes can be looked at for your present and future endeavors.
Exactly.
And apply them.
So, okay. Well, anything else?
No, that's it, guys. So that wraps up Coffee Talk for tonight. It's always a pleasure having each and every one of you here.
Next time we put you on the spot.
Yeah, next time I do most of the talking anyway, right?
Yep. No.
Well, I'll talk some more. We got some good topics coming up in the future, Coffee Talks. And like I said, it's always a pleasure having each and every one of you here, guys. Stay tuned, and we always love feedback. So leave your comments down below, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube or wherever you guys can find us. We're so honored, so privileged to have you guys staying tuned. And so look us up on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google+, Pinterest. Look us up as The Coffee Couple in our Coffee Talk. All right, guys. Have a good evening. Have a good morning wherever you find yourself. And thank you so much for being with us this evening. My name is Carlos.
And I'm Reyna.
And we are The Coffee Couple.
Good night, and God bless you all.
Thank you for enjoying Coffee Talk with Carlos and Reyna, the Coffee Couple. As home business mentors, Carlos and Reyna invite you to enjoy better health and wealth starting right now. Go to www.thecoffeecouple.net for more information. That's www.thecoffeecouple.net.